Stephen,
Yes,
on
sir.
the minutes and on the agenda, could you put on there at the top something about this being a Zoom meeting?
It is on the agenda. I can add that to the minutes too.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought you were gonna run around each person's house to put those name tags on their computers or something.
You've got on the agenda, you've got the meeting link, but I think you should put on there Zoom, under Zoom conditions or Zoom meeting or something like that. Just in 10 years, if somebody looks at it,
Sure. That's not a problem.
I don't know how the brown people are going to look at it, Brown Act people, but just so that it's clear.
Perfect. Understood.
So Stephen, we've been doing some Zoom meetings for our general membership, and our international's been helping us out, making sure they're secure and everything. And the guy that runs it has, during the Pledge of Allegiance, has a waving flag going in the background. I planned on trying to figure out how to do that and haven't had a chance.
I've got a flag.
You do?
I have a picture of a flag that I'll share on the screen.
Yeah, if you put that on the screen during the Pledge of Allegiance. Otherwise, I went in the garage and grabbed one, but if you got one to fill the screen, it'd be even better.
That's pretty
I'd rather
good.
just see you hold that while you say it. But yeah, not a problem, Dave.
Awesome.
Hi, Lynn.
Sahar.
Hi, Sahar. Jim Bray.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Sahar. How are you?
Good, good. How are you? Sorry, I had to go turn off my TV.
No worries.
How you been, Fred?
I've been doing all right, thank you. And you?
Good, good. Thank you.
Staying super busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Been crazy.
Yeah.
Hi, Lynn.
Hey, Sahar.
Is that you, Stephen?
That is me.
Oh. How you been?
I'm doing well, Sahar. How have you
Yeah.
been?
I didn't recognize you with your mustache and the
new look.
Not a great
the
look.
new look.
Not a great one. All right. So we should have a quorum tonight. So we should have a few others joining us.
Okay, good.
And my wife confirmed we are live on YouTube. So for the public access,
Okay.
we're good.
Hey, Stephen, what is the link for that YouTube? If anyone wanted to join.
I can cut and paste it into the chat. Hey, Leonard. Hey, Vincent.
Dave.
Hey, Paul.
Stephen, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Howdy.
Hey, Ken.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Time.
No kidding, man. Too
Hi,
long.
Lynn.
Edmund,
Frederick.
how's it going?
Hi, Dave. Everybody, Jim.
Doing all right.
I'm sorry, but who's Leon?
Do I see a Leon there?
I don't see a Leon.
I just see,
Somebody
Oh, there's-
joined. His name is Leon.
I see it now. I just scrolled it over. Yeah, I don't know who Leon is.
Glenn, is that you? Glenn Wilhite?
He doesn't have a camera or mic hooked up.
0 for 2.
Messaging him.
Do I sound okay or should I get my headset?
No, you sound fine.
Okay.
So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, give it a couple more minutes. Oh, okay. Got it. Leon is Leonard. Gotcha. He's got two things up.
Oh, he's probably got a phone and his computer on.
Got it. So just waiting on one more, Glenn Wilhide, then we should be good.
I thought Glenn was here.
Glenn Wilhide. Yeah, Glenn Sparrow's here. Glenn Wilhide.
Oh, Glenn will hide.
We got a couple Glens.
Let's see.
better. That's better.
Give Len a quick call. All right, Glenn's coming on right now.
Stephen, did Glenn join the meeting?
He's just got off the phone with them. He's having a few technical
okay.
issues. He's gonna jump on, so we can probably get started here in just a sec.
So Stephen, are you able to see if there are people on YouTube watching? How do we track that? Or do we?
So I think at the end of it, this is actually my first time doing this, so I'm going to be curious to see what the analytics are. But let me check to see if I can see real quick.
Oh, I think we'd rather not know right now.
Just seeing how
3,000
popular we are at the beginning of the meeting.
3,000.
And at the end.
Oh, so it's a small crowd, 3,000. That's good. That's good.
Are you serious? 3,000 people?
Yeah, Fred, I probably wouldn't have chosen that outfit. Okay. Well, here's my suggestion. While he's logging on, there's nothing we need to take action other than the meeting minutes. So why don't we go ahead and get started until he, and then he can log on during the meeting and we can circle back to anything that he has.
All right, sounds
We do
good.
the
So
beforehand, or?
are we ready then?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and call the July 22nd CBOC meeting to order. And we will start out. Stephen told me he's got a flag he can place on the screen, so we'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can put that up there, Steve.
Got it.
Stan.
All right.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
flag
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One nation.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
All right. Good job.
All right, we'll start off with roll call. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah. Got you up real quick. Dave got there.
Here.
Vincent Kugner.
Yeah.
Hi, Vincent. Kyrie McAgay is excused. Leonard Pinson.
Here.
Paul Schroeder.
Here.
Glenn Sparrow.
Here.
And Glenn Woolhite will be joining us momentarily. All right, thank you. So I'll bring up the agenda. So next up, we didn't receive any public comments. I didn't get any ahead of time. Nothing was sent to the CBOC email as well. We left instructions not only on our website, but also through our distribution of the agenda for directions on how to do this. So we did make an attempt. The next items are going to be membership updates, which Sahar is going to cover.
Great, thank you, Stephen. Good evening, everyone. I believe this is my second meeting on the CBOC. The first meeting we had was, when was the first? Was it in November, October? No, it was in January. Yeah, January. Yeah. So thank you everyone for being here tonight. I would like to thank the outgoing members for their time and effort for being on the CBOC. We had Sharon Bullard. She was the vice chair and she was the finance and the accounting representative. She was also on the audit subcommittee and she served 3 terms. We also had Pei Wu Chow. She was the Senior Citizens Organization representative. She was also on the construction subcommittee and she served 2 terms. Marlene Ruiz, she was the College Advisory Committee representative. She also was on the Communications Subcommittee and she served 3 terms. And then John Whitney, he was the Grossman College student representative. He was also on the Audit Subcommittee and he served 1 term. So those were the outgoing members of the CBOC. So right now the district is still looking to fill those seats, the finance accounting representative, the senior citizens organization representative, the college advisory committee, and the Grossman College student representative. So the district is still looking to fill those positions. So we don't have any new members. And then, so we would also like to select a CBOC vice chair to replace Sharon. Would anybody would like to nominate?
Yeah, I'd like to make a nomination, and I didn't realize we were going to do this, but it doesn't take a whole lot of thought on my end. I would like to nominate, if he's willing to accept, Glenn Sparrow for vice chair.
Any seconds?
Paul Schroeder seconds.
Let me just say this, that I'd be happy to do it. I just don't want to be the chair next year. And it might be better if we chose somebody who was willing to move up to be chair, to be the vice chair. That's my only comment.
All right, I'm willing to amend my motion or nomination if anybody else would be interested in being vice chair.
I'd like to have a few more meetings under my belt, but I I would do it later.
Well, our next meeting's later, so I'll go ahead and nominate Richard Benson.
That's not what I said.
And I'll amend my second to second Len's nomination.
Thank you.
So do we, Stephen, do we then approve, or what do we do now?
We can. I
Do
believe
we
we can-
take a vote, or?
Yes, I think it's Dave would just call for an all in favor.
All right, we'll call for an all in favor on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Did somebody cut out Leonard's mic? All right.
It would look bad if I opposed the own nomination. So I'm just
Congratulations.
gonna keep quiet. I'm gonna keep quiet.
Perfect vice chair.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And Glenn Will had just joined us too, so we have
Right.
our.
It's under Susan here. Sorry, I had to switch computers.
No worries. I'm glad you're able to join us. Yeah, we have a new vice chair. If you didn't hear,
I saw it. Congratulations.
he's very happy to be that.
Yeah.
And then the last topic on the membership, we also need to select a chair for the communication subcommittee. So we can either try to do it tonight or wait until the next meeting, because I believe the communication subcommittee is not going to meet until October, right, Stephen?
Yeah, usually not even until November. So
Not even to November. So I don't know whether you want to go ahead and do that now or wait.
But I'm the only committee member right now on the committee.
correct.
So I'm happy to be chair of one right now.
All right.
That's
well,
why I asked whether we want to wait till the next meeting or go ahead and select the chair tonight.
I'd like to select the chair tonight if Paul's willing to do so.
Yeah.
I'd like any new committee members coming in to know that there's already a leader in place.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, good.
Fantastic.
Good. Thank you, Paul. Do we? I'm not sure, Stephen. Do we take a vote on that or no?
The CBOC bylaws state that the chair can nominate the subcommittee
Oh
chair.
no. Okay, great. Okay.
So if that's what Dave wants, then we can. And Paul accepts.
Okay.
So we're good.
All right, good to go.
Okay, that sounds good. That's it. Thank you. We can.
Sahar, what about the audit committee?
The
Subcommittee.
audit committee.
Glenn, I was under the understanding that you were the chair of that.
I'd be willing to do it. My name isn't there, but I would certainly be willing to take that position.
Okay.
But I don't remember formally being moved into the position, but that's fine.
Okay.
Being the chair of the audit subcommittee.
So, Mr. Sparrow, you've been anointed chair of the audit subcommittee. Thank you for volunteering.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
And now, Dave, I'll stop sharing the agenda and I'll bring up the meeting minutes and we can put those up from approval. And these are the January 22nd meeting minutes that we didn't get to approve because we canceled the April meeting.
Okay. So everybody got a copy of this emailed out. When did we excuse me, Stephen emailed these out on July 15th. So everyone's had a chance to go over them. Stephen's bringing it up. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Stephen. And also in old business, we've got typed out here, follow-ups from the January 22nd meeting. I'm assuming that Stephen or somebody within GAFCON will be taking that.
They'll be handled, yes, in the agenda item number 9, so under the presentations.
Oh, okay, great. Chairman's report, really, obviously with COVID, there has not been a whole lot of, we've had to, postpone our April meeting. Not a whole lot of action going on, other than to say just before everything kind of got crazy, I had the opportunity to present the CBOC's annual report to the full board and staff on February 18th. It was a packed house because there was a labor dispute, so I felt right at home, and didn't have any questions or anything come up with the report. It's posted on the website. And other than that, that is pretty much the entirety of my report. So we will go on to subcommittees.
Dave,
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, it wasn't a labor dispute.
Okay.
I don't want that out to 3,000 people. No labor. The approval to consider extension of the PLA was on the agenda. So that's why we had a packed house, if you recall. So yes, no labor dispute. Not yet.
No, I think you had staff, the staff union was there to ask for a contract, either renewal or something, that on the 18th when I read the report.
Yeah.
I'm assuming all went well.
Yeah, no dispute.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So we, for the subcommittees, there hasn't been any meetings, so I don't know if there's anything to share. And I believe the only actual chair on the call is Glenn Wilhite. And I know, being on his committee, we didn't have a job walk, which is probably the smart thing to do right now. No sense in exposing anybody unnecessarily. Glenn, did you have anything you wanted to share tonight?
No, you're right, since we really have not had a job walk or anything of that sort. So I will pass that time on.
All righty. Stephen, so there's no other subcommittee reports tonight then?
There's no other reports. The next thing we jump to is the bond program update presentation that Jim Bray will be doing.
Mr. Bray, it is all up to you now.
Thank you.
And I'll bring it up for you, Jim, here.
Thanks, Stephen.
Let's try this again. 1 second. There we go. All right, there we go.
All right. So thank you everyone for this time to present the bond program update. As mentioned, the last time we met it was in January. We actually completed several projects, and we'll go through that in the next several slides. And as usual, we'll go through the format of Grossmont College first. We'll go to Cuyamaca College, and then do a cost savings update. So you can go to the next slide, Stephen. So this is the building's 36 swing space utilities. So this was prepping for the new building 36, which I'll talk about in a little bit. The construction for the utilities was actually completed in January. And so we were actually able to use the trailers for a while before everything hit. And then the little punch list stuff finished up in February. So it's finished on time, and they were able to occupy the building when the semester started. Next slide. Science, Math, and Career Tech Complex. This is the building 31 renovation. So this was the complete redo of the existing 31 building, basically took it down to studs and rebuilt it. This was also completed in time to occupy for the start of the spring semester, and then some punch list stuff went into March. So this is completed and was also used for a period of time So it got broken in before everything shut down. So that was nice. Next slide. So this is the Performing and Visual Arts Center, or as we call it, PVAC, or one of several other different names. This one was completed around March for the building, and May, when they finished up all the site work and everything. We were not able to use this one for the start of the spring semester, but it's ready when people are able to come back, and it's really an amazing building. When things calm down, we'll have to do another tour of it. Very nice theater, a lot of nice spaces in there, and I'm sure everyone's anxious to start using it. And this one is also in the Orchids nominations. If you're familiar with the Orchids and Onion program that is done. So this one was nominated, fortunately, for an orchid. So vote early and vote often, as they say. So next slide. So we got a nice little time lapse here. So this is the construction of the PVAC building. And this was a camera that the contractor had on their trailer. So you can just see, you know, the foundation's going in over time. And starting the slabs. Starting to put the walls up. See the steel going in for the front pieces, front areas. And then pretty quickly, you'll start to see finishes on the exterior coming in. See the curtain wall in. And then they're starting the site work and the flat work that goes around the building. And then the parking lot magically appears. That went really quick. And then the striping. So, and obviously all the landscape and everything is in now. So, as I said, when things calm down, we'll really need to do a tour of that building. It's a really nice building.
Jim,
Yes.
Jim, do you know if the college is planning a grand opening for the building?
You know, I think that they're planning one, but we don't have a date yet. So one of the things we've talked about doing is doing like a virtual tour of the building and then getting that out on social media and different sites so that people can see what the interior looks like before they're able to come back. Okay. Anything else? Next slide. Okay. So this is the master pump station. And this is to provide a consistent volume and pressure of water for the campus. It's been an issue over the years, and it's both for domestic, but also for fire water. So we're working on the design of this one and working with two public agencies, the fire department and Padre Dam, to make sure they agree on what the requirements are and that what's going to be provided meets that. So this one is in design, and we expect to go out to bid in January. Next slide. This is the next project, next large project for Grossmont College. And this is building 36. And so what it is the complete demolition of the existing building 36. And then we'll put in a new 2-story building. This is also, as noted here, the building that'll get the new Veterans Center. And that was one of the items that was highlighted in the bond that was passed. And so where we're currently at is that we have DSA approval. So we're working on getting ready for the bid. But the other piece that we're doing is we split out the demolition of the existing building. So that's been awarded, and they've actually started, they did some light demo on the interior, and now they're working on taking out all of the hazardous materials in the building before they start the actual demolition. So right now, the entire building is kind of wrapped in plastic, and they're working on the abatement, and probably by the end of August, they'll start to work on the hard demolition. And the idea is this will then move right into the construction and to anticipate the new building to start in November of 2020. Next slide. And then the following one would be Arts and Comms Phase 2, which is the next phase of the arts and communications area. Next slide. So now moving over to Cuyamaca College. So this is one of the infrastructure projects, and although it's not a building, it's very important for supporting how the campus actually works. So this provides the heating water and chilled cooling water for many of the buildings on campus, and that's currently wrapping up. Next slide. So this is the ornamental horticulture complex. We also refer to it as the OH&M project. And the M building is an existing building that we're also remodeling. So the buildings are all well underway, and they're also working on the site work. We anticipate that the buildings will be done towards the end of November this year. And then the site work will finish up early next year. And this is the one where we also bid the greenhouse separately. So we just recently sent out the award letter for that. And so we're looking at that construction would be August to February. And a good part of that time is going to be in submittals and getting the greenhouse through DSA. And expect that to finish up February, March of next year. Okay, next slide. So this is the Student Services Building, a large project on Cuyamaca College. This is the one where the bids came over where we wanted them to be. So the redesign is complete. We're currently bidding. We've gotten interest from 5 to 7 bidders, which is good. And so we're currently going through the bidding phase, answering RFIs, and hope to start construction in September and complete in April of 2022. But the good news is, despite everything that's going on, we've had a lot of interest from bidders on this one, so that's good. Next slide. This is the cost saving slides. A number of the projects, of course, were finished up. But we've got a couple from the OH&M project, from change order negotiations, and actually one that shut down for a period of time on because of COVID, get things out. And so we actually negotiated that with the district, no cost time extension. So that's really a cost avoidance there. Next slide. Any questions?
Fun Sparrow, I believe, had one.
Okay.
Yeah, Jim, in your opinion, how much time have we lost or gained, or are we the same given the whole COVID crisis and all that? Where do you stand as far as your scheduling is concerned?
So currently, we haven't lost a lot of time from COVID. We lost a couple of weeks at OH&M, but they potentially can make some of that up. And like I said, the buildings even there are supposed to be done by the end of November. We are seeing sort of a general claims, or not really even claims yet, general markers that contractors putting in, I'll say, for say COVID delays when they're giving us their schedule updates. So we're pushing back on those to say, well, you need to give us specifics before we push any time, but we haven't really hit any big delays so far. The contractors have hit some small delays from getting, and it's kind of been strange. So one week it'll be they can't get clamps, say. Then the next week they can get all the clamps they want, but there's some other little part that they need. And we're hearing about some delays from vendors for carpet and a few other things, but based on where our projects were at, these really haven't been impacted.
And there's been no cost impact either?
Not so far. As I said, some of the contractors are putting in markers, and even actually asking for extra costs for the new safety regulations, like having somebody take the temperatures and all that. We have not had that yet. So not to say it's not going to happen, but so far we haven't had that.
And I just want to add, one of to any compensable extension of time, it just means we can track where that drop is. We feel that every construction company should have within their own general conditions and insurances the ability to mitigate any impact resulting from COVID-19 or any event that may happen on the job site. There is this fear around the construction community that some contractors may suffer more than others and maybe looking for ways to have others make them whole. But I think that this has been a big conversation that's been happening both in the legal community and the construction community, and there isn't yet a plan of how to address it. Suffice to say that we're monitoring everything, we're documenting everything, and we feel that we have enough documentation and procedures in place to manage these if they do come up.
Thank you both very much. Appreciate it.
Jim, I've got a question.
Yes.
So building 31, we were obviously kind of blindsided by the abatement issue, and that really affected our local hire numbers. Anything similar happening with the abatement at 36?
No. And I'll, that's a very good question. I will follow up with Marty and Brent. But we haven't seen any issues with Watkins is the firm that got the contract. They have a very good reputation and they seem to be managing things, and we haven't heard of any issues with personnel or anything like
that. And they're local?
You know, I'll have to confirm that. I cannot honestly answer that question right now, but
okay. Thank you.
And Paul, you had a question too?
Yeah, I did. Jim, from a design perspective, do you guys have any projects that are kind of in the hopper or, you know, planning to do design selection that maybe you got delayed? That's happened to us on a number of projects where we are in the middle of the selection process, and then the districts have gone, you know, kind of on hold while this is all going on and delaying selections and pushing stuff out. Is there anything like that that's happened on future projects coming out that you're aware of?
No. And in fact, from the impact side of COVID, as far as us doing any of the construction work, processing pay apps, change orders, none of that. People working from home or where they need to. And so everything's continuing to roll.
Okay, thanks.
But that's good to know that that could be an issue.
Yeah, it could be for you guys. So.
Anything else? Okay. Over to you, Stephen.
I'm good. So the next item would be our, I believe, CBA update. All right. And Marty is going to get that for us.
Good evening. So Stephen, you're going to put it up there and get it rolling?
Yep.
Dave, Watkins is a local contractor. They're right up off of Arrow Place. They're a San Diego contractor.
Oh, fantastic. That's good to hear.
Yeah, no, it is good. So yeah, good evening, everyone. Glad to see everybody's faces, everybody up, happy and healthy. It's been a crazy 5 months, but it's good to see everybody. I'm going to give a quick update on the community benefit agreement and or the PLA. Just to give you some quick background, the board resolution approval was again November 15th in 2016. It became effective March 28, 2017 through March 28, 2020. And we did an evaluation plan in March of 2017, along with the CBOC at that time, which basically put together an evaluation plan that identified some key performance indicators we would track throughout the life of the PLA and or now the CBA. So we're going to get into that a little bit as I go through this presentation. The original PLA contained 3 projects. It was covered by Grossmont College PVAC, Grossmont College Building 31, and Cuyamaca College Ornamental and Horticulture Building. Stephen, next slide. So as Stephen said, as you can see, the board resolution for the new CBA or Community Benefit Agreement was approved on May 19, 2020. It became effective March 28, 2020. And it is an extension of the existing PLA. A Community Benefit Agreement was discussed and it was changed from PLA to CBA to adequately and accurately reflect the intent and the use of the PLA, because it's a tool that we have used to include the community in this type of agreement. So I think a community benefit agreement more accurately reflects the type of work being done under this agreement. So in essence, it is a PLA, but it's a little more extensive and it's a little more inclusive of other stakeholders at the district and in the community. The CBA contains 2 projects. It's the Grossmont College Science, Math, and Career Tech Complex Building 36 and Cuyamaca College Student Services Building. So as I discussed, we put together an evaluation plan to track the key performance indicators of the PLA, and they were divided into 4 key sections. And those 4 key sections are local hire. We take a look at the goals and we take a look at the workforce evaluation, project cost impacts as they relate to the CBA, project schedule impacts as they relate to the CBA, and program cost impacts as they relate to the CBA. So the first thing we're going to talk about is KPI 1, which is a local hire. The CBA has the following local hire goals for Grossmont Cuyamaca Community College District. In the footprint of the district, our goal is 40%. The goal for San Diego County was 90%. And you can read across here for the different projects where we're at. PVAC, we're at 28%. And for district, 80% for San Diego County, 31, 26% for district, 80% for county. And you'll see that's what Dave talked about earlier, is that the abatement, we had to bring in local 300 from Los Angeles because there were no abatement availability in San Diego. So that affected that. Ornamental horticulture, 26%, San Diego County, 89%. Building 36 and SSB or TBD, and the non-community benefit agreement projects, 26% and 74%. So and understanding that the local hire numbers are calculated on the non-CBA projects during closeout. And we verify that via zip codes on the certified payroll.
Quick question, Marty, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of taking in all these numbers, Fred Parker had stated that he liked to utilize the percent of total hours worked instead of percent of total workers, because you might have one individual show up on the job for just a few hours versus another individual that's on the job for the entire time. So they went with percentage, and the percentage numbers seem to be substantially higher for hours worked versus total workers.
On some of the projects, yes, they are. On one of the projects, it is lower. And I'll point that out on the next couple slides if you'd like, Dave.
I apologize. I didn't know you were going to get to it, Mark. Sorry.
No, I'll point that out for you and show everybody those percentages that you're talking about. So next slide, Steve. So this is the PVAC. You can see in the red circled area, Grossmont Cuyamaca, it was within the district footprint, we have 28%, and then local area workers, 80%. If you go 2 over to the right, you see total hours worked, and they see percent of total hours worked. You can see that the numbers are a little bit bigger. They're basically 35% and 86%. And that takes into account the number of hours worked, not the bodies. So if we have one body on site that worked 1,000 hours and one body on site that worked 1 hour, it's calculated correctly, and the percentage of of hours worked, but it's not, it may not calculate it as clearly as Dave is asking for on the total workers.
Thank you.
Mhm. Next. So we got building 31 again here, and we got 26% and 70, I can't read that, 78% it looks like. I don't have my glasses on, sorry. And then percent of number of total hours work, you see to the right, 23% and 70%. So they're a little bit lower, Dave, on this one.
Gotcha.
Marty, I got a,
Yeah, go ahead, Leonard.
on this, are you seeing a lot of bleed over from Mexico and Temecula on that? The fear we've always had is we just don't want LA coming and sweeping in and taking everything.
I am not, but I will look into it and see. In Mexico, we never really see a lot. In Temecula, with all the work going on at Temecula Valley Unified School District and up in the Inland Empire area, we don't have too much bleed of them coming down anymore.
Okay, all right. I'd just be interested to see where the workers are coming from, if they're actually San Diego contractors, but they are starting to see like Temecula. I know we're getting a lot Temecula, and I'm surprised you're not getting any out of Mexico because we do have a lot of drywall. Seems to be a heavy one.
And to be clear, I don't think we're not getting any. I just don't think we get a lot.
Okay, all right,
We'll check into that for you.
all right, cool.
Glenn, did you have a quick question, Glenn Sparrow?
Yeah, Marty, your experience, you've used this KPI before, I take it, haven't you? Or is this the first time that it's been used?
This is the first time that it's been used. We developed this specifically for the Grossmont Cuyamaca Community College District.
Okay, so you don't have any experience on whether those are big gaps between what is desired and what is actual, or you just don't have any experience with it?
We have experience on other PLAs with these types of numbers, but we do not have experience utilizing these straightforward KPIs like this.
What would you say then is this a big miss? Is it a tiny miss? Do you have any sense of that at all that you could share with us?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big miss. I think we're tracking along nicely here. I think there's been some factors, as everyone knows, you know, with how much work is going on, and then with COVID hitting and everything, and the nature of the construction business when we started this program. But I think we're tracking along nicely, and I think it's going to get higher as we go along.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Can you just give me the quick Reader's Digest version of the difference between a CBA and the PLA? What is the definition?
Well, I can give you a really quick Reader's Digest version. I think you've lost a lot of people when you say Reader's Digest, right? But I used to read it all the time as a child, so yeah, I can. It's technically the same thing. In a project labor agreement focuses on the actual projects, where a community benefit agreement, I think, encompasses some different stakeholders throughout the district, and or teachers and or the general public, and for us to get involved in this. I think we're opening up a little bit more for a little bit more interaction with the other stakeholders who weren't involved in it, to add a few things onto it to ensure that it benefits everybody in the community and isn't just focused on the construction aspect of the program.
Okay, thank you.
Marty, this is Lynn. I have a question.
Sure.
So when you say you're confident we're going to see higher percentages here for local and closer to our goal, is that on future projects? Is that on these projects? Because, you know, the board is deeply interested in our serving our community in terms of the workforce. So are you saying as we add new projects, or for these three listed? Or these?
I think as we add new projects.
More than three. So not on these projects as we add more.
On the ones that still have some work to go on, I think we will see a little bit of a rise, but I'm hoping that we'll see a larger rise on these newer projects that start this summer in the first of 21.
Is there anything that the college can do to help promote that? Help ensure that, make it more intentional? I don't know. This is not my area of expertise, but I do know that it's of, high priority for the institution.
Yes and no. We've done a lot of outreach to the local contractors. Stephen has done outreach meetings. We're meeting with contractors. We're educating them on the local hire goals. There's zip code requirements when people are being dispatched from the union hall. So we are doing a very aggressive and comprehensive approach to getting these individuals into these products that are within the boundaries of the district in San Diego County. So that's yes, no. The workers are what the workers are on the payroll. So the best we educate them, encourage and continue to make sure that we're putting the right message out there, and we're out there making sure they understand our goals, and we continue to utilize our union partners in this CBA to ensure that they're dispatching the right people to the right jobs.
Thank you.
Stephen, next slide. So we also in KPI2 looked at project cost impacts, construction hard costs. And we've got 3 examples here. PVAC was up by $4 million, no rebid. I think we talked about that in the last couple of that was unforeseen conditions, as well as some change orders. Building 31 was up 7.3, and it was rebid. And that was, economic issues and costs of material. Ornamental horticulture was up by 1.1. That was rebid. The reason that one went up is because in the beginning we excluded the greenhouse from that bid, but then we determined that it probably should be under it so that it is covered under the CBA. And so that went back out to bid, and that number reflects the cost of the greenhouse that is being built there.
Marty, may I go back to slide 8? I'm sorry, I had questions on the diversity numbers.
Okay.
On when I look at the diversity, am I missing something here?
I'm sorry, in what respect?
See the numbers and the percentages, they're not computing for me. Is there a group missing?
I don't know. I will check into it and see.
See what I mean? Am I reading it wrong?
4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5.
Like those, our diversity numbers don't add up. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
look at the numbers, Lynn. I think you're right. We'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
we should be
saying
getting
254 on the bottom doesn't add up.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know if I was missing something. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
apologize for that.
No worries.
All right, Stephen, if you can go to 10. Yeah, so then KPI 3, we looked at schedule impacts, whether the CBA had any impact on the schedules. PVAC, no variance there, so no impact. Building 31, 14 days impact. That impact was for various other reasons. In the ornamental horticulture, 470 contractors, 47, 17 days that impact, but that was not based upon the CBA.
Right.
And program cost impacts under the LCP cost and non-CBA awarded construction amount. To date, it's been 662,000 out of 55 million for 1.12% cost. And on the non-CBA projects were 335,591 for a total of 40 million at a 0.9% cost impact.
Jim, were these numbers changed on what we sent out? I'm looking at, I'm sorry.
Yes, Lynn, these were updated.
Okay.
And
Okay.
when we go to the next slide, let's go to the next slide. In the next slide, the total of, if you total across the top, that's the 662, and we determined that the previous slide wasn't the 662, so we updated that to make sure it was showing correctly.
Okay,
Yeah, and here is the program cost impacts per year. You can see as they go through for the CBA administration, to date, we're at, for this year, 221,546. For CBA LCP management, that's incorporated in the CBA admin up top. Legal services across, you can see we use the legal services in the beginning to negotiate. And to date, the last couple of years, we've not needed legal services. So for a total year to date, 221,546, and on the non-CBA, $61,109.
A question?
Yep.
Marty, you provide some additional data that explains these things. Is that data, are there notes being kept on this? Is there a diary so that we have your explanation of why these things happen? For instance, it rained or they couldn't get the bolts or whatever caused this problem. Or is there a complete diary of this as we go along?
Are you, in relation to that question, you're talking about the money uptick on the slides or the extension of time?
The whole thing. On each of those slides, you offered an explanation of why things were the way they were. I'm just wondering if that's documented so that in 5 years or 10 years, somebody looks at this and they can say, oh, well, this was off by this much. And the reason was, you know, that sort of thing. When you and I aren't here to say, oh, these are the reasons.
Yeah, and I'm going to let Jim answer on the construction side, but yes, we are tracking the differences and what the reasons for the differences are, and we're pretty comprehensive in that. And I think that the majority of it, Jim, if you correct me if I'm wrong here, are in meeting minutes and or notated throughout the project files.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there should be more footnotes perhaps so that, you know, for instance, the one about the greenhouse or whatever, that was noted there, but it could have been said greenhouse was added for the rebid, which would explain a lot to somebody who's looking at it for the first time. And I'm just wondering if perhaps there's a way of footnoting the types of information that you're providing so that the person looking at this data can understand what you know about it that explains it.
Yes, and we definitely can do that, and I will work with Stephen to ensure that is done.
Thank you. I know this is a controversial issue in some quarters, and I'm just trying to make sure that the data is there for the person who is looking at it for the first time or looking over the thing, and we can explain, or somebody can explain why things are the way they are. That's.
Well, you know, Glenn, it's funny. I think sometimes because we're all so close to the information, we forget that the average individual might look at something and wonder, where's all the additional information? How did this happen? What led to this? What led to that? So this is a really good point. I'm glad you brought it up. We will endeavor to make sure that we're thinking like the average individual who is not close enough to these projects would be thinking, and try to provide the type of information they would be looking for so they feel that there's been total transparency across the board. Thank you.
My point exactly, Fred. You say it so much clearer than I do.
All right, so if that's the end of the CBA update, then we will go to staff reports with Sahar.
Great, thank you. I will share the year-to-date expenditure report. Can you see the spreadsheet? Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it big enough?
Yeah, easy to read on my end.
Okay, great. Thank you. So So this is, as you can see, we tweaked it a little bit from the prior year's reports. We added all the expenditures from fiscal year 13-14 to fiscal year 17-18 under one column. So this is the year to date through 17-18. And then we added, then we have the 18-19 expenditure, the 19-20 expenditures. For the 19-20, this is as of June 30th. So we're still closing the books and we're still accruing expenses to 19-20. So this is not the final number for fiscal year 19-20. At the next meeting with the next update, this column, the 19-20 column will be updated with the final expenditures. And then this last column adds up all the total expenditure. And then we have a project, the project balance. So keep in mind that the project balance is based on taking the funding plan less the expenditure. So this number does not include any outstanding encumbrance, because as of now, all the outstanding encumbrances rolled into the next year. So at the next meeting, we're going to add the 2021 columns, which would include all the encumbrances that were already entered in the system. So and then we add the interest. So we have been earning interest on the funds. So as of fiscal year 19-20, we earned about 7 million. So if we add the 7 million to the 256, so we have a balance of 261. As you know, we only issued two Series A and Series B. If we subtract Series C and D, because we haven't issued them, so it looks like 69 million is left on Series B, because we've already spent Series A, and we have 69 million left for Series B. Any question on this page? This is a total for all three sites.
Yes, I do. Do you have any idea of when you're going to sell the next two tranches or the next tranche?
Yes, actually for Series C, I know GovCon is working on doing a cash flow, but we're looking at either toward the end of fiscal year 2021 or early 21-22. So we're looking either in the late spring of 21 or early fall of 21 for Series C.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then we go into the different sites. So we have the same format as the summary. So this is district services. And right now we don't have any projects going on for district services. And then we have Grossman College. So these are the expenditures and the project balance for each of the project. So as of now, we're looking at 164 million left for Grossman College, Kiyomaka College, and that's their totals. And then district-wide, what district-wide is, as we mentioned before, this is all the technology and the infrastructure for the buildings, the program management, and any other program costs. So we have 30.5 million left. And the way what we do with the expenses is we allocate those expenses back to each of the sites. So this tells you how much were allocated to the sites. So that is all the Prop V expenses. And then what we did is we added a couple of pages on this report to show any projects that was funded with other funds or with capital outlay funds. So as of date for Grossman College, these were the projects that were funded with other funds. And mainly it's the Prop 39 funds that we received from the state. So this is the Grossman College, and then Kiyomaka College. Kiyomaka College, again, also it's mainly the Prop 39 funds that we received from the state. And also for Building H, the college received a grant, a Title III grant that funded some of the constructions for the renovation of Building H. And that's the end of the report.
All right.
Any question on this report?
Thank you, Sahar.
Okay, great, thank you.
Appreciate the reformulating of it. I was actually able to follow along this time.
Yeah, I know it was so hard to read, too many columns, too many numbers. So yeah, thank you.
All right, Stephen, did we have anything else that came up, or are we towards the end here?
No, all 10 of our viewers are viewing on YouTube, had no other public comments, so
Okay.
you're good there.
All right. Well, then, not a bad time for our first time around with Zoom. I thought that went pretty smoothly. Thank you, Stephen, for putting that together.
Thank you guys for your patience.
Yes, thank you. Thank you,
Do
Steve.
we have a date? Do we have a date for our next meetings in place yet?
Yes, sir. So right now we're tentative. We're not tentative. We're scheduled for October 28th at 6 p.m. Location fairly TBD.
My dining room.
We'll probably follow a similar format.
All right. All right. Well, then I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Very much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
It's the waiting game. Who's going to wait till the very end?
I got 2 things I got to shut down.
Take care, Stephen.
You too, Dave.